Welcome to episode 2 of Craig and Drew build a vintage sidecar racer.
No, that's why I switched it the first time, because if you say sidecar racer, you're building the guy. But if you say racing sidecar,
okay.
You're building the bike.
Okay, so
You ready?
sure.
Sure.
Welcome to episode 2 of Craig and Drew build a vintage racing sidecar. I'm Craig from RDH Garage.
And I'm Drew from Hellbenders Racing Team.
So it looks like you got your flywheel done.
I did. Yep, today we're going to replace a few seals, add a little bit of racing bling, do some intense surgery on the bike, and if we have time, we'll probably explore a little bit of how to make the world a better place.
That sounds like a bit much to take on.
Well, we can give it a try. Dielectric to glue the ring in.
Supposedly that keeps the seals nice. Also, Snowbum recommends that we do some thread locker on the bolts. So I want to clean those off first.
Those of you that haven't done this before, these bolts are different widths, so this can only go one way, but the beveled edge goes up. I watch Brooks videos.
Okay, there you go.
Multiple times. It's like...
And Brooks and William Plam are my favorite.
William Plam is who?
Oh, boxer tube out. So I'll know
Good.
where it's pointing.
Tell me again what the torque was on that.
It was 72 to 88.
Inch-pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. This will go a lot better if you have a socket.
Good.
This is like the line, you know. Okay, so I've got $50 millimeters. I can't tell if my head's in it or not. Where would my head be? So this is the intense surgery I was talking about earlier. So we're going to do what's called venting the clutch, and we're going to drill more holes. So just like this factory hole is there's no oil behind this. It's actually a dry space because it's a dry clutch. So we're going to drill some more holes because more holes makes you look more like a racer. Truth of it is, you're trying to get the heat out of the clutch, so we want to put some holes in here to try to vent the heat out of there, because when you're racing, you're really overusing your clutch, especially like when you first pull out, you're really laying on that clutch to get a fast pull out. When you're pulling out of the corners, you're also really using that clutch to get a nice hard pull out of the corners. This part's kind of intimidating to me because once you do this, there's no going back. This is now a race engine because nobody's going to want to try to restore a case with holes in it.
And this might be sacrilege to all you airhead purists, so I apologize.
No. Some images may disturb sensitive viewers.
So I'm going to mark this hole with one of these spring-loaded punches.
You want me to hold that?
I got it. So that kind of puts it
Oh, cool. So for you non-BMW people, the cylinders are not exactly straight across. So this one actually sits back just a little bit on these older models. So he's having a little trouble getting the drill in there because this cylinder is actually back a little, getting in the way of his work.
There we go.
Almost two.
Oh, jeez. It's getting bound in there. Yeah. Wow.
You sensitive viewers, it is now safe to turn your screens back on.
You know, we initially set the flywheel at top dead center, and then we actually had to move the flywheel a little bit to get it off. We weren't sure we put it back right the way it was, the crankshaft, so we're going to check that. In hindsight, I would have created a flywheel puller tool. That duct tape sticking to my fingers. So.
Here, I'll get it out.
Okay. So we're going to use my two-stroke top dead center tool. This goes into the spark plug hole, and then this fits inside and basically just rides on the top of the piston. But we're going to watch this. If it goes up anymore, you know, as we move it, then we're not on top dead center. If it goes down, then we're on top dead center as we move if we can move this thing. I guess we should do the seal first. We're going to drop this job. There you go. Punt. This goes in here, right? Then it puts pressure, puts it on the center of the flywheel. If we start turning this and this comes out nice and easy, then I'm okay with it. I mean, if it doesn't come out easy, I would just put screws in here and try to pull it out somehow. I think, or Nirvana. It's coming.
Oh, good.
You should see my R100. It was a nightmare. You got an easy one. You got a good day. Thanks, Sonny, again. My gosh. That was just too freaking easy. I couldn't believe that. So we're installing the rear main seal, and stated earlier, I put a little bit of Vaseline on the outside of the seal just to help it get in. The recessed surface here. Some people say don't do it. What I was told was Vaseline actually burns off, so you don't harm the sealing properties of the seal versus the engine. But I'll leave it up to Drew if he wants Vaseline on it.
Yes, please do. I'm a firm believer that you can never have too much lube.
But only use if you're going to use any lube, only use Vaseline, because this burns off. One time I did it without it, and I kind of peeled a little bit of the seal off, pushing it in. This is the CycleWorks tool. The seal inside, and I'm going to use the flywheel bolts to insert the seal inside the surface. We're going to make sure these pins are still good. These pins are sticking out. Okay. We have one more bolt somewhere.
Yeah, I was using it to figure out what socket I needed.
Yeah, I think it's going pretty good, you can tell. We want to make sure it's flush with the edge when we're done, so the flywheel turns. Some people put these in, they didn't quite get it flush, and then the flywheel didn't turn. Nice thing, this tool actually seats down, so you really can't go any further.
They all feel pretty tight.
Yep.
I think we're in.
That's good. Yeah. Yep, I'll take them out.
So the particularly observant of you probably are noticing that I'm wearing pretty much the same outfit as the last video. That's intentional. This is my reuse to reduce program. And no, I don't mean wear the same thing over and over again. These pants started off as work pants, and then they became house pants, and now they're garage pants. And you know, the stuff that's of the right material, it'll go to rag bin. You know, the more we use this stuff, the less stuff we buy, the less stuff goes into landfills. I know that may sound a little hypocritical coming from a guy building an old vintage gas-powered racing vehicle. I promise you this, my next new bike will be an electric motorcycle. Race bling going in.
Try to avoid it. I think it looks good from an eyesight.
There's what, 7,240 holes?
Yeah.
So, just a quick word as to why such a fancy little hole drill system. And I sent this out to Randy Long from Long's Custom Mechanical. What this did was it took 30%, 1/3 of the weight on my flywheel down. And what that does is it allows the bike to pull out a little bit faster, but even more importantly, it allows the engine braking to start a little bit sooner. It started at 9 pounds, it's down to 6 pounds. When you try to slow down, this rotating mass is still rotating, and so you don't get the engine braking as much. And when you're coming into a corner fast on a racetrack, you want to be able to use the engine to help brake and slow you down before you get into the corner. So that's what all these holes are for, and it just looks cool.
So it does a dual purpose.
Yep.
Yep. I think the spark plug might have a problem. Okay, so now we're supposedly at top dead center. What we're going to do is look at this little top head to make sure it's at the highest position. Yep. So I'm going to move it the other way just to make sure. Yep.
That went down.
Yeah. We're good.
All right, good.
Perfect.
All right, I'm going to start at 35. All right, so that's 50. Now we're going up to 77. All right.
I'm good to go.
So this guy is from an R90S. It's a little stronger of a spring. So we're putting that in, more race bling.
You can just put it toward top dead center, like this black mark that I put on there in that first.
So one more piece of race bling. This is a oil resistant clutch friction pad, and so it's supposed to have a little longer wear and be able to handle the extra oomph of these bolts. So I'll just go in. I got it. So for those of you that watched the last one and saw that there was a little bit of a blooper that got edited out, I'm still not going to tell you what that was, but I'll give you a hint.
Yeah, I really don't know what happened.
A quick word about this tool. Brooke actually puts the transmission on to center it and then carefully pulls it off. That seemed like that would be a lot of work, and as kind of like a new mechanic for me especially, it seemed like that would be really easy to mess that up. So this dandy little tool that Chris Sutton made, also a fellow sidecarist and airhead lover, holds this clutch centered so it doesn't move around while we're doing all this. Nothing against Brooke, that man's a genius, and if you're Brooke, you can do it however you want. So just for those of you that don't know what we're doing, we're trying to tighten this outer plate down. Remember that spring we put in the beginning had those little tangs, and so we're going to try to compress that spring down enough that these bolts start to grab. And, oh, just getting there now. And then once those start to grab, then we put those in, and we can take these out and put the right bolts in. Cool. All right, so I've done these two. I'm going to do this one. Sweet.
Well, we got a lot done today. We got more than I expected, actually.
Oh, yeah?
In a quicker amount of time, I should say.
So, kept all of our promises. Intricate surgery, drilled holes, did some seals, got that rear main seal in and the oil pump seal in, put on some race bling, that flywheel, lightened flywheel, and that fancy clutch, and even talked a little bit about some world views.
Excellent.
Okay, so I looked online and I looked at some other people's vent holes in their race bikes, and I got a little bit of vent envy going because my holes are awfully small. So I flattened out this piece of license plate because, as you remember from the video, Craig and I already put the clutch and flywheel on, so I didn't want to run the drill bit into the teeth of the flywheel. So we're going to put that in there nice and tight. We're going to put this in here to suck up any shavings, and then I'm going to grease the crap out of my drill bit, and we're going to make some bigger holes. I have to admit, I'm a little intimidated. The other side's actually going to be easier.